Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Just Keep Swimming podcast. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Mr. Adrian Jackson, and we're back at it again with another great episode for you. And you already know who's with me. It's your boy, Mr. 13, dropping hot beats for the city. Make sure to check out his Heavenly Connection album, which is already available. His information is all in his Instagram. And another promoter for today is the Immortal Barber Lounge and Shave Parlor. They have a wonderful back-to-school special going on right now that ends at the month of August. If you book your appointment on a Tuesday, Wednesday between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., they will cut down your child's haircut to $40 to $30. My apologies, $30. All they have to do is bring in a student ID to show that they're actually a student in the Las Vegas city, and they will get a cheap haircut. So make sure you check out the Immortal Barber Lounge and Shave Parlor to get the back to school special for only $30 ending at the month of August between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Sign up now. Don't miss out on this wonderful deal. They have more promotions coming for next month, so make sure to be on the lookout for that. And speaking of back to school, that kind of brings me to today's episode, and I just wanted to talk about books. I feel that books are amazing. I wasn't a real big reader when I was younger. I actually really hated books, but there are a few books that stuck in my mind. Unfortunately, I don't remember the titles of them. But recently, since I've been on my big growth journey, I have been reading a lot more books recently, and I kind of just want to share a few books with you guys. And the first tip I want to drop about books is that we have to mix up our books. We can't just keep listening to 100% all self-help books. Fiction and nonfiction are all amazing books that we need to listen to, because the fiction, that's the truth and everything that we need to hear, and stuff to help us learn. But the nonfiction helps you really get into that imagination lifestyle, to really let your mind run wild and let your thoughts just flow and just really get into another world and really just experience what's going on with these characters in this book. Because one great quote that I heard is that the nonfiction books actually are better than the fiction books, because they really help your imagination grow and really just help you look at life in a whole different light, because they're not more instructive. They're more of just going along with the flow of the character. You're just seeing somebody else's life. So with that being said, I just want to suggest a few books to you guys that I feel that everyone should probably read. The first book that I want to suggest to everybody, which is going to be one of my nonfiction books, is going to be this book called The Napoleon of Notting Hill. It is written by J.K. Chesteron, and it is an amazing book. It takes place back in his own time period, pretty much where the government is kind of ran differently. They choose their king based off of a drawing, not like a royal family or things like that. And it's just crazy to see what happens when you choose a king who doesn't take the system seriously and thinks everything is a joke and thinks life is a joke. And it's crazy to see how him thinking things are a joke really affects all the other characters in the book. Definitely this one character who truly believed that what the king was doing wasn't a joke, it was real. And it really is a mind-blowing to watch the character development throughout the book. So that's one book I highly suggest to everybody. That's one of my favorite books. A pretty funny book, pretty random. It's all over the place. But that's going to lead me to my next book, which is another great book called The Alchemist. I feel this is a book that everybody should have read by now. I read this book at least once a month. Well, it's on Audible, so I listen to it at least once a month. But it's an amazing story of a shepherd boy pretty much looking for his treasure out in this old big world. How he's taking leaps of faith, trusting the omens, trusting nature, and just, going on his journey to find his treasure. And I'm not going to spoil the ending for you, but it's crazy how your treasure is closer than you really think it is. So yes, I will highly suggest The Alchemist. I believe that is an amazing book. So now for my true life growing books, the group books that I feel really help me stretch myself and just think deeply. The one book first book is called Intentional Living by John C. Maxwell. And you already know I quote Mr. Maxwell a lot of times on this podcast. He's an amazing coach. He has a lot of YouTube videos. Please go check him out. A lot of amazing books. But this book, Intentional Living, I find it really powerful because he actually humbles himself in this book and really focuses on his story and talks about some of the ups and downs and the things that really made him to become the man that he is, such as his ego issues that he had. Sorry about that. His ego issues and, whatever life journey brings, he talks about all that and really goes through pretty deeply in his book and really just helps you understand how to be an intentional person and live with intentionality in his life. Because, a lot of us are living these facade type of lifestyles, and he really helps you understand what you can do to live intentional. So I highly suggest that book, Intentional Living by Mr. John Maxwell. And this next book I'm going to suggest is one that I suggested many times. It's called Boundaries by John Townsend. Boundaries. I feel every single person needs to read the book Boundaries. I know that definitely the way this world is right now, definitely with social media and how social media assumes that we should live and how people make it seem like we should live, this boundary book will be great to, one, help you understand the boundaries you need to make with everybody in your life, whether that's your parents, that's your spouse, that is your kids, your co-workers, friends, people in the streets. They really talk about boundaries, and if you're religious as well, they also do relate a lot of the boundary lessons that they teach back to the Bible and how they're biblical. So please check out this boundary books. It's an amazing listen. It's so smooth. You wouldn't think it's as powerful as it is, being how smooth it is to read and the great stories they tell throughout the book. I feel there are many stories throughout the book that you can at least relate to two of them. Two minimum, because it's a really great book. So please check out the book Boundaries. And now I'm gonna throw in some bonus tips right now. The first bonus book that I want to throw out there is called one second. Oh, okay. The first bonus book I want to throw out there is Napoleon Hill's Golden Rules. This right here, as of right now, I only know it to be available on Audible if you have a membership. But if you do have a membership, it's a free download. You don't have to waste a credit on it or anything. But it's a great book. It goes through a lot of lessons in life. It talks about, applying the golden rules of life. It talks about, it talks a lot about, auto-suggestion, about environment, about habits, control, thought control, memorization. It goes through a lot of things, a lot of great examples. Definitely a lot of rich people that practice these examples daily. And it goes through a lot. It talks about persuasion. I believe if you're a salesperson, you should read this book. If you're looking to sales and any type of marketing, or just want to promote yourself more, I think this will be a great book to read. And a bonus book that I want to throw out as well is something that I'm currently reading right now, suggested by Mr. T's Mac himself. Go back and check out his last week's episode as we talked about time. Amazing episode. But the next book is called The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley. An amazing book so far. I'm only about on chapter 2 or 3, but it's just amazing because he actually breaks down what is a true millionaire in society, not what we assume a millionaire to be, but what is a millionaire. And small snippet, for example, we expect millionaires to drive Ferraris and Porsches and $1 million cars, and it turns out that millionaires usually drive, true millionaires drive cars that are about 4 years old and is not really super duper fancy or anything like that. They drive basic Hondas and Civics, and they're living in regular neighborhoods, and they're really just making their investments and their ROI grow big time. So I think that's a book that everybody wants to check out. I will give more on it as I read through it. I'm just now starting it. It's pretty deep. I keep going back and listening to chapters because I'm like, man, I think I got a lot of this stuff wrong of what I believe it is to be a millionaire or what it is to be successful. And that's actually going to lead me to my bonus tip for the day. What is it to be successful? What's success in your eyes? What do you believe success looks like? Do you have it wrong? Are you assuming that all this rapper lifestyle is what success should be? Or do you have your own definition of what success is? And that's something I think everybody should look at. What is your definition for success? What would success look like for you? Not for the neighbor, not for your cousin, not for your mama, but for you. What does success look like for you? And I think that right there will be a good thought to leave on for today. You know, let's just sit down and actually focus on what is success in my eyes? How would I know that I'm successful? What would it take for me to get to that success level that I want to be at? And I think that's something that a lot of us should truly sit down and try to figure out, because a lot of us are assuming that we have to go get to the Joneses, and it's like, no, don't worry about the Joneses. Let's worry about yourself and your level of success. So I think that right there is a good thought to leave on. Please check out the books. If you guys have any book suggestions you would like to share with me, I would love to hear them. I would love to read them. I would love to talk to them about with you. You already know, hit us up at jkspodcast702@gmail.com, or you know, you can hit us up on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. We're all over the place. Send us an email, share us your books, give us some suggestions, and we'll go from there. With all that being said, make sure you don't miss out on the back to school special. It's brought to you by the Immortal Barber Lounge. Like I said, $30 haircuts all until the end of the month of August. Just make sure you book your appointment on a Tuesday, Wednesday between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. and they will get you in. You already know they're the best barbers in town, so you don't want to miss out. With all that being said, I hope you guys had a wonderful day, an amazing afternoon, a splendid evening, and remember, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.